Cripsilog.
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 Testing.
Hello, hello.
Hi!
Ay, bakit? Hello, welcome everyone. Ano, game na ba?
Hi everyone!
Welcome, creepers. Oh, may
Welcome,
tawag na talaga.
Jeepers Creepers? Inspired by Jeepers Creepers.
Ah.
Welcome. Hello. And this is our season finale.
Of
Welcome.
Cripsilog, where we talk about creepy things.
At dahil season finale, meron tayong live audience. Yay!
Wow! Grabe.
Hello naman dyan. No, I'm serious. Tatlo kami ngayon dito. So may audience kami today.
May
Thank
silent
you.
watcher daw. Wow. Kamusta?
Okay.
So this is the last episode for this season.
Yes. Ang laki ng katawan. Magaling ka bang gym?
Loko-loko. Hindi. Hindi, no? Hindi ako nag-gym.
Okay.
Okay. So, kumusta? It's been a week. Kala mo, hindi nagre-record ng same day.
Alright.
Wait, sorry, uminom ako. Ayan.
So, as
No.
you already know by now, Cripsilog ang isa sa pinaka well-polished and professional
Yeah, we're so
Podcast
professional here.
in
No,
the history
walang
of
mali.
broadcasting. So, dito ka lang nakakita
Napaka-smooth.
ng podcast na nire-research on the spot.
on
ang
the spot,
topic.
yeah. Nag-google ka right then and there.
Last recording, ubo ako ng ubo.
Good job.
I'll try to minimize.
Sana, hopefully, ngayon.
Oh, yes. Sige. Before we start, let's do our round of apologies.
Ah, yeah. Ano nga ba?
Nilista ko actually.
Ay, talaga? Ano yun? Kasi guys, if there are information na incorrect,
Yes, number
kasi,
one.
Incorrect,
Incorrect, offensive, inaccurate,
yeah. Tell us
insensitive.
about it send us an email at cripsilog@gmail.com. Ano ba yung what are you going to apologize for?
Well, naihingi ko na ng patawad ang mga bosses natin. Natanggap ko na. Actually,
Hindi, okay
nung-
lang.
nung-
Di ba?
nung-
Wear them as your shield, char.
cringe nga ako nun. Pero habang tumatagal, may mga nagsasabi naman friends natin, okay naman, wala naman kayong dapat.
Ako yung pangit yung boses eh.
No, kahit ikaw may nagsasabi sa akin na friend ko na okay naman si Gideon. So,
Oh, yeah,
sila-
okay
sila
naman.
din yung sinasabi.
Kaya lang.
Ano kaya lang, walang kaya lang. Sabi niya okay naman yung bosses niya, but more than that, he says
Na nag-enjoy
they
siya.
really praises for our
Yeah,
natural,
thank you very much.
yung natural na conversation. It's
Yeah.
not heavily edited, and I think that's one of our strengths, na hindi natin minamanipulate masyado yung conversation natin.
We're just like nagkukwentuhan lang.
Yeah. We're that, like I said last time, we're that two people na nakasabay mo sa coffee shop na nagkwentuhan ng morbid. And you have no
And you are
choice
there,
but to listen.
listening.
So natanggap na namin yung mga bosses natin. Natanggap na natin na this is really amateur. We can be generally
Sorry,
ignorant.
this is our first
sometimes.
time. Eh,
We,
Pang-sampu na.
we don't really know what we talk about sometimes. I think one of the things that we can definitely improve on, like na-mention me before, yung ang lalakas natin tumawa.
Oo,
into
yun nga
the
pala. Make a conscious effort not to laugh into the microphone kasi masakit sa tenga. Na-try ko, nakikinig din kasi ako.
Ang sakit.
Nagugulat ako eh.
And ako personally, dami kang ums. Siguro pag
Ums.
kinompile mo lahat ng ums ko, makakabuo ng isang episode.
Mm.
Uy, lumalayo pag tumatawa.
Oo, kasi nga masakit sa tenga.
I guess,
Tsaka parang yung mga reaction ko, oh no.
Oh, no. Yeah. Kailangan natin
No.
mag-ipon ng mga
Maraming
ready.
token reactions.
Responsive.
Oo.
Ano ba dapat?
Ay, ano ba? Yun na ba yung i-apologize mo?
Ay, ikaw ba?
Hindi, wala naman.
No apologies.
Wow, no remorse.
Take it or leave it, bitch. Oh,
Wala na.
yes. Kasi mostly, friends natin yung nakikinig. So,
Oo.
alam natin tanggap nila tayo kahit
for
magmumura-mura
who you
tayo.
are.
Yeah. Kasi they know us personally. We don't really mean anything bad or
Pero,
but we have to
take into account
Remember,
na
maraming hindi natin
nasa
kilala na
Spotify to. Anybody can listen to it.
sa
Diba?
Spotify and iTunes. You can click
Yeah.
our links.
Look for Cripsilog.
And we don't know, we can't really be assured na yung makikinig ay matatanggap yung mga
Yes.
kapokpokang hatid natin sa araw nila.
Okay, kailangan may disclaimer, no?
Yeah.
Na we are not making fun of the victims. We are not glorifying the suspects.
You're making fun of the suspects.
Yeah.
Of the,
Ayun,
of the
ganun.
perpetrators.
Tsaka this is a learning experience, kasi nga marami tayong natututunan dito. Like, mga iba-ibang kinks.
Techniques. Ay, layo sa mga.
Ay, grabe. Oo, kailangan ilalayo
See,
yung...
we learn.
Diba? Just give us time.
Ako, I learned, hindi, alam ko na. Sa end ng episode, yung mga learnings natin.
Okay,
Kasi
sige.
it's the season finale.
Oo.
So, after, okay na sa apologies, fuck it. I'm done apologizing
Take
for
it or
everything.
leave it. Diba?
Alright.
So, we are now on to our last serial killer.
Oh.
That's too bad. Pero, you'll never know kasi baka we'll go back here sa mga serial killers. Diba? Kasi marami. There's too many out there.
Yes,
Wow.
and we need to discuss them. It's
Yeah.
important that we
Learn more about them.
learn more techniques.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I'm ready.
game na
Yes.
for today.
Surprise me. Sino siya?
Our serial killer for today is Edmund Kemper, the co-ed killer.
Oh,
Have you heard of Ed Kemper?
yeah. Mindhunter.
Yeah, sa Mindhunter. Mga episode 2 pa lang, andun na siya.
I love his character, by the way, sa
okay.
Mindhunter. So this is a perfect choice.
Yeah. May pa-quote tayo from Edmund Kemper.
Gusto ko talaga.
May mga
Yung
pa-quote.
gimmick mo ng quote.
Wait. Ito I quote.
In his voice, please.
Oo nga eh. I knew long before I started killing that I was going to be killing. That it was going to end up like that. The fantasies were too strong. They were going on for too long and were too elaborate. Hindi ko kaya. Ayun.
Ang galing.
Ayun. So, bata pa lang siya. Alam na niyang he's going to be a killer.
Yeah, kuhang-kuha mo yung calm and
I was
soft-spoken
trying
manner niya.
very hard na ganun dapat yung boses niya.
That's perfect.
Edmund Emil Kemper III was born December 18, 1948. He is an American serial killer and necrophile who murdered 10 people, including his paternal grandparents and mother. He is noted for his large size at 6 feet and 9 inches. 6'9". And towering over you. What the fuck? And his high IQ at 145.
Wait, 6'9"? So, dalawang ako siya.
Oo, pagpatungin mo. Grabe. So, parang nag-compute na yung mga tao. Okay.
Height mo.
Kemper was nicknamed the co-ed killer as most of his victims were students at co-educational institution.
Oh, kaya co-ed
Co-ed.
killer.
Oo, kasi victims niya, co-ed. Okay, so, born in California, Kemper had a disturbed childhood. He moved to Montana. Oh, disturbed childhood.
Naistorbo siya?
Kasi nga parang gulo mo. Pero, may nagsabi ng mga FBI agents. Well, before we delve into Edmund Kemper's childhood, according to the famous FBI profiler John Douglas and Robert Resler, any one of the 10 traits that can indicate someone is a serial killer, Edmund Kemper has them all.
Oh.
So parang na-check niya lahat ng boxes.
Ilang boxes to?
10. So parang ako naman, naghanap ako, ano ba yung traits na yun? Pero I'm not sure kung ito yung nasa FBI din. Pero,
Are you
ginugol
going
ko lang
to
kasi.
list them down ngayon?
Sinabi ko lang naman.
Yes,
Ay,
I will-
sasabihin ko lang. Number 10.
Sandali. We would like to invite our listeners to check for these signs sa sarili nyo.
Baka meron
Baka
kayo.
meron.
You'll never know.
Ako din.
Number 10, alcohol and substance abuse.
Hmm.
Alcohol abuse. Alcohol lang. Hindi.
Konti lang, di ba?
Check.
Abuse?
Okay, sige, check. Number 9, psychological abuse during childhood.
Check.
Check ako kay Yaya Percy.
Oh, shout out to Yaya Percy in heaven. Pray for us.
Number 8, sexually stressful events during childhood.
Wala na.
No comment.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Number 7, bedwetting. Ikaw ba?
Yes.
Yes.
Proud of it.
Okay.
Mm.
Number 6, growing up lonely and isolated.
Yeah.
Yes, check. Number 5, fantasies. So may mayroong serial killer fantasies ka na about control and violation.
No.
Na wala.
Technically, no.
Okay.
Technically.
Technically, so parang
Wait, let me explain.
Number 4, preferring autoerotic activities. Ano yung autoerotic activities?
I think it's playing with yourself.
Oo, which is, hindi naman masama yun. Most serial killers admitted that during their teenage years, they avoided parties and other social events. They definitely never experimented as normal teenagers do with sexual activities among their peers. So, there's something wrong? Rather, preferring masturbation and other autoerotic activities.
I think it's coming from
Such as pornography.
seated
Kasi nga lonely ka.
insecurities.
Okay.
Ayaw mo ma-judge.
Pwede. Nahihiya ka to show your body.
Yeah.
Number 3, developing voyeurism and fetishism in adulthood.
Huh?
Check.
Ano? Hindi ko alam.
Ano yung voyeurism and fetishism?
Ninilip.
Oo.
Bosero.
Naalala ko yung Game of Thrones. Wow, yun na naman, no?
Ano yun?
Sa brothel ni
Yeah,
Littlefinger na may
pwede
nagsisex.
kang
Tapos
manonood
biglang
siya.
may nanonood pala, nag-zoom out yung camera. Biglang may nanonood pala, playing with himself. Tapos nag-zoom out ulit, may nanonood
Si
pala.
Littlefinger.
Oo. Sinisilipan niya yung naninilip. Ganun. Okay, ang galing, no? Parang that's some Inception shit right there.
Voyeurism within voyeurism.
Okay, number 2, acting out fantasies on animals. Okay.
Ano?
Like, kung ano man yung fantasies mo, killing them or having sex. Having sex.
Ew.
Ew, okay. Number 1, physical injuries. Mga head trauma, mga ganyan. Check. Guys,
may
check
head
nyo
trauma ka.
yung check nyo, nakailan ba kayo?
Ano yung
Ilang
passing
points?
score?
Ay, kailangan at least 5. 5.
Nagbilang.
Ha?
I'm sure
Hindi mo
naka-5
nabilang.
ako.
So let's be careful around you. Okay. Born in California, Kemper had a disturbed childhood. He moved to Montana with his abusive mother. Check na.
There you go.
At a young age before returning to California, where he murdered his paternal grandparents when he was 15. He was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic by court psychiatrists and sentenced to the Atascadero State Hospital as a criminally insane juvenile. Kasi nga, bata pa siya nun. So, ito, parang overview lang to nung mga nangyari. No? Released at the age of 21, after convincing psychiatrists he was rehabilitated. He targeted young female hitchhikers. Yun yung pinatay niya, mutilate, and what's that? Have sex with their corpses.
Necrophilia.
Yeah. He was born sa Burbank, California, December 18, 1948. He was the middle child and only son born to Clarnell Elizabeth Kemper and Edmund Emil Kemper II. Kasi the third siya.
Middle child?
Oo.
See?
Check.
Sabi sa'yo. Okay. Edmund III.
Edmund III siya. So si Edmund II, his father, was a World War II veteran who, after the war, tested nuclear weapons in the Pacific Proving Grounds before returning to California, where he worked as an electrician. Clarnell, the mother, often complained about Edmund II's, the father, menial electrician job. Menial. Parang wala lang, so-so lang. And the father later said, and I quote, Suicide missions in wartime and the atomic bomb testings were nothing compared to living with her. What? So parang mahirap kasama tong si mommy.
Bitchy. Nagger.
And that Clarnell had affected him more than 396 days and nights of fighting on the front dead. Ano daw?
Like, Saj?
Like, mas mahirap pa na kasama mo si Clarnell kesa sa gera. Bakit?
Asawa niya,
As in,
diba?
may quote yun si daddy, si father yung nagsabi nun.
Galit na galit, kuya.
Weighing 13 pounds as a newborn,
Oh.
Kemper, the third, was already a head taller than his peers by the age of 4. He was highly intelligent but exhibited behavior such as cruelty to animals. At the age of 10, he buried a pet cat alive.
Ay.
Once it died, he dug it up, decapitated it, and mounted its head on a spike. Wow ba? Tapos nilagay niya yun sa labas ng window ng nanay niya. Para pagbukas niya ng bintana sa airmat niya. Hello there.
Game of Thrones na naman to.
Very Game of Thrones. I'll put
Ned
your
Stark.
head on a pike. Ganyan. Uy, spoiler ka.
Ay. Season 1 naman.
Joke. Kemper later stated that he derived pleasure from successfully lying to his family about killing the cat. At the age of 13, he killed another family cat when he perceived it to be favoring his younger sister, Aline Lee Kemper, over him and kept pieces of it in his closet until his mother found them. So nainis siya kasi nga hindi siya bet ng pusa. Pinatay niya.
Mas malambing
sa kapatid. And
at least hindi yung kapatid ng pinatay niya.
oh yeah. And nakita ng airmat niya
Alam mo, tingin ko, nasend siya ng pusa.
na there's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
And mother found them, yung mga buto nitong bago niyang pinatay na pusa. So usually, porn stash ang makikita ng mga nanay, di ba?
Ito buto. Masama.
Dito kay Ed, kung porn stash siguro, parang normal lang yung airman niya. No? Ay, okay, wala lang. That's normal for kids.
May buto ng pusa.
But buto ng pusa.
Wait, ikaw paano mo dinispose yung goldfish mo nun?
Ay, nakalimutan ko na. Tinapan ko lang yata. Ay, that's one time. Hindi na naulit yun.
Okay.
Tsaka I love cats. Kemper had a dark fantasy life. There's something to be said kung bakit cats yung target niya. Kasi cats are associated with females kasi.
Oh. So, may
Something's fishy. Kasi nga,
indicator.
oo.
Akala ko dahil
Ayaw niya ng pusa.
hindi lang talaga siya cat person.
Hindi siya cat person, kaya ayaw tayo. But no. Baka kasi, kasi nga associated sa mga women, yung cats.
I get that.
Kemper had a dark fantasy life. He performed rituals with his younger sister's dolls that culminated in him removing their heads and hands. So, dinadecapitate na niya yung mga dolls ng kapatid niya.
Is this foreshadowing?
Foreshadowing of events to come.
We'll find out later.
And on one occasion, when his elder sister, Susan Kemper, teased him and asked why he did not try to kiss his teacher. Kasi may crush siya sa teacher niya. He replied, I quote, "If I kiss her, I'd have to kill her first." Unquote. What? So parang,
agad?
siguro
Agad?
dun sa mga kapatid niya, feeling nila joke lang. Pero, in his head, I'm telling the truth.
Mataba siyang bata.
Oo.
So, bata pa
Very
lang siya.
healthy.
Heavy na siya.
He also recalled that as a young boy, he would sneak out of his house and armed with his father's bayonet, go to his second grade teacher's house to watch her through her windows. Stalker din si kuya. Ba't may bayonet pa?
Oo nga.
Parang papanoorin mo lang naman.
Just in case?
You'll never know what will happen. He stated in later interviews that some of his favorite games to play as a child were gas chamber and electric chair.
What the fuck?
So ito, mag-roleplay sila na kunyari, he's dying in a gas chamber, tsaka electric chair. Kaya yun yung tawag. So, paano yun?
I-act out
I-act
mo
out niya na kunyari,
nangingisay siya.
yun yung favorite games niya. Wow! Parang ako, Dota, ano ba? Ikaw, anong nilalaro mo?
Mag-isa lang ako palagi nun eh. So, mga toys lang.
Ay, oo, naglalaro ako ng Sipet before. Alam mo
ginagawang
yung
Lego.
connect mo?
Yeah.
Oo.
Ay, nagkakadinig ang robot.
Ginawa mo yun?
Yeah.
Di ba?
Tsaka yung mga cassette tapes.
Anong ginagawa mo doon?
Dominoes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have friends na sabi nila yung mga laro nila nung time na yun, mga X-Men, ganyan, Mutant.
May mga cards na trading cards na X-Men.
Yeah, yung friend ko nung bata siya, favorite niya si Cyclops.
Ako din.
Pero
High
na-realize
five.
niya, he's more of a Storm.
Storm pala yung bet niya.
Yes.
Typhoon.
Hi, you know who you are. Hindi ka sabihin pangalan mo. Nabati na kita dati.
Oy, may clue. Ano yung back listen? Sasabihin ko back read. Back listen kayo, guys. In which he asked his younger sister to tie him up and flip an imaginary switch, and then he would tumble over and writhe on the floor, pretending to be dying of gas inhalation or electric shock. Yung mga type ni Kuya.
Morbid.
Kunyari mamamatay ako. He also had a near-death experience as a child. Once when his elder sister tried to push him in front of a train, and another when she successfully pushed him into the deep end of a swimming pool where he almost drowned.
Wait.
Ang kulit naman ang trip nila, magkapatid.
So, sister niya to, no?
Oo, tinulak siya. Tried lang naman. So, parang, siguro, nagjo-joke siya na itutulak siya sa tren. Ay, sa riles. Pero, ayun.
But I think si little sister may tendencies
Oo, hindi parang mali dapat si sister tong natin, topic natin, hindi si Ed eh.
Yes, siya sana ang nag-iisa nating girl entry.
Kemper had a close relationship with his father and was devastated when his parents separated in 1957, causing him to be raised by Clarnell in Helena, Montana. He had a severely dysfunctional relationship with his mother, a neurotic, domineering alcoholic who would frequently belittle, humiliate, and abuse him. So, kawawa si Kuya Ed dito. Si Big Ed. Kawawa siya sa nanay niya kasi parang sinasabihan siya ng hindi ka magkakaasawa, ganyan. Hindi ka ma-in-love. Walang magkakagusto sa'yo kasi tsaka ka.
Parang walang maternal nanay sa kanya.
Clarnell often made her son sleep in a locked basement because she feared that he would harm his sister. Regularly mocked him for his large size. He stood 6 feet 4 inches by the age of 15 and derided him as a real weirdo. Kawawa naman si Kuya kasi nga sobrang laki kasi niya, di ba? For his
exact quotes ba yan?
Quote, a real weirdo. Kasi yung nanay niya yung nagsabi nun.
What a bitch.
Tapos, parang, ang sad lang na, kunyari ko ikaw si Ed Kemper na your mom would think na you would rape your sisters, kaya ilalak ka sa basement.
That's...
Na, yung lalabas lang siya pagkakain na for dinner, and then, pagkatapos ng dinner, balik na siya doon.
So, he's basically imprisoned.
She also refused to cuddle him. Cuddle, C-O-D-D-L-E.
Cuddle.
Alam ko lang yung cuddle. C-U.
That's
For fear that she would turn him gay. So talaga ba? And told the young Kemper that he reminded her of his father and that no woman would ever love him. So ito nga yun. Yung pang-humiliate kay Kuya Ed. Kemper later described her as a sick, angry woman. And it has been postulated that she suffered from borderline personality disorder. At the age of 15, Kemper ran away from home in an attempt to reconcile with his father in Van Nuys, California. Once there, he learned that his father had remarried and had a stepson. Kemper stayed with his father for a short while until the elder Kemper sent him to live with his paternal grandparents, who lived on a ranch in the mountains of North Fork. Kemper hated living in North Fork. He described his grandfather as senile and said that his grandmother was, I quote, constantly emasculating me and my grandfather. Wala, pati yung lola? What's wrong?
Ayaw yata talaga
Ayaw ng ermat,
family niya.
ayaw ng paternal grandmother.
And yung sister pa niya.
Oo, tutulak siya sa tren eh. So alam mo na hindi ka bet nitong kapatid mo. Dahil dito nagkaroon siya ng huge anger towards his mother, his grandmother dahil sa emasculation na nangyayari.
Mm.
On August 27, 1964, Kemper's grandmother, Maudie Matilda, ang dami, Huey Kemper, was sitting at a kitchen table when she and Kemper had an argument. Enraged by the argument, Kemper stormed off and grabbed a rifle that his grandfather had given him for hunting.
Mm.
He then returned to the kitchen and fatally shot his grandmother in the head before firing twice more into her back. Some accounts mention that she also suffered multiple post-mortem stab wounds with a kitchen knife.
But this is after an argument,
Yeah.
diba? So parang pwedeng nabigla lang siya.
Or pwedeng,
Emotional.
ang tawag dito? Like, napuno na siya?
Yeah.
Kasi nga, ang dami ng...
Pushed over the edge.
Yeah. Tapos, kung meron pang post-mortem stab wounds, so you would think na he really hated his grandmother.
Di niya rin bet.
Na. When Kemper's grandfather, Edmund Emil Kemper, si the first, came home from grocery shopping,
Oops.
Kemper went outside and fatally shot him in the
Oh.
driveway. So, pinatay na niya si Lolo.
Galit na galit din.
He wasn't sure of what to do next, so he phoned his mother, who urged him to contact the local police. Kemper then called the police and waited for them to take him into custody. When questioned by the authorities, Kemper said that he, quote, just wanted to see what it felt like to kill grandma.
What?
Okay.
Curious?
Oh, or we can also think na he's trying out, testing the waters. Kasi nga, killer na siya eh. Parang I feel like nung bata pa siya, nag-iisip na niya patayin yung nanay niya, patayin yung lola niya, and tinitry niya, ano kaya mangyayari kung patayin ko nga talaga?
Magkaka-regrets kaya, remorse? Or
What will happen to
Will I
me?
like it?
Will I be jailed? Mga ganun. And that he killed his grandfather so that he would not have to find out that his wife was dead.
So out of concern.
Yeah, na parang he's doing you a favor. Parang hindi naman talaga siya galit sa lolo niya. Parang, I just don't want you to feel the sadness. Ano pa ba? The despair, knowing that
alone ka na.
your wife is gone. So he's doing you a favor. in his sick head.
Tas yung lolo pa niya nagbigay sa kanya ng
Ng
rifle.
barel, oo. Psychiatrist Donald Lunde, who interviewed Kemper at length during adulthood, wrote that with these murders, in his way, he had avenged the rejection of both his father and his mother. Kemper's crimes were deemed incomprehensible for a 15-year-old to commit, and court psychiatrists diagnosed him as a paranoid schizophrenic before sending him to the criminally insane unit of the Atascadero State Hospital. So, since juvenile din naman siya, 15 years old, and insane,
Sa mental hospital.
doon siya dinala. So, in a way, ito yung he had avenged the rejection of both his father and
Sa
mother.
parents.
Kaya niya pinatay din yung grandparents
ng tatay
niya. At Atascadero, California Youth Authority psychiatrists and social workers strongly disagreed with the court psychiatrist's diagnosis. The report stated that Kemper showed no flight of ideas, no interference with thought, no expression of delusion or hallucinations, and no evidence of bizarre thinking, and recorded that he had an IQ of 136. Akala ko ba 147? He was re-diagnosed, okay, and stated as having a personality trait disturbance, passive-aggressive type. Later, on in his time at Atascadero, Kemper was given another IQ test which gave a higher result of 145. So, he's a really smart guy. Tapos, pag titignan niyo yung picture niya, mukhang siyang nerdy talaga eh.
Yeah. And the way he was portrayed sa Mindhunter, he's very
mild-mannered.
eloquent. He can really explain things.
Na in detail, di ba?
Than the average person.
Maganda yung vocabulary niya. Yeah. Kemper endeared himself to his psychiatrist by being a model prisoner and was trained to administer psychiatric tests to other inmates. Okay? Kasi naging friends niya. Kasi friendly din talaga tong si Kuya eh. Tsaka mabait. Ayun, model prisoner nga talaga.
Mild-mannered, yeah.
One of his psychiatrists later stated, he was a very good worker and this is not typical for a sociopath. He really took pride in his work. Kemper also became a member of the GCs while in Atascadero and stated that he developed some new tests and some new scales on the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, specifically an overt hostility scale. During his work at Atascadero psychiatrists, after his second arrest, Kemper stated that being able to understand how these tests functioned allowed him to manipulate his psychiatrist and admitted that he learned a lot from the sex offenders to whom he administered tests. For example, they told him it was best to kill a woman after raping her to avoid leaving witnesses.
So this whole time, he was actually doing research.
Oo. Tapos, nakalimutan ko yung sasabihin ko.
Sorry.
Na naging, he was trusted by psychiatrists na siya yung gumawa, mag-administer ng mga tests sa ibang inmates. Tapos nakikinig din siya ng mga confessions ng mga rapists.
He was gathering best practices.
Best practice.
Breast?
Tapos throughout the story, makikita nyo na ganun talaga siya. In a way, smart. Ayaw niyang magkamali na kailangan i-test out niya muna. On December 18, 1969, his 21st birthday, Kemper was released on parole from Atascadero against the recommendation of psychiatrists at the hospital. He was released into the care of Clarnell, who had remarried and taken the surname Strandberg, then divorced again at 609 A. Ord Street, Aptos, California, a short drive from where she worked as an administrative assistant at the University of California, Santa Cruz, UCSC. Okay. So, magiging take note of the school kasi dito siya kukuha ng victims. Kasi nga di ba nga co-ed. Yeah. Kemper later demonstrated further to a psychiatrist that he was rehabilitated. And on November 29, 1972, his juvenile records were permanently expunged. And okay. Ito yung meron kasing mga tests bago siya i-release. Psychiatric tests. Pero ang ginawa niya, kinabisado na niya lahat ng tamang sagot. Kasi nga nandun na siya sa office. Kasi nga close na siya sa mga doctors. So ang ginawa niya, kinabisado niya yung mga sagot ng exam para ma-release siya.
Naisahan niya yung sistema nila.
Which you can say smart.
Yeah,
smart kid. Tapos, sinabihan din siya, parang ang order, wag siyang tumira ulit sa
parents,
mother niya.
Sa mother niya.
But then again, dun siya napunta. So,
yun yung legal guardian.
Parang, pero ang sabi kasi ng doktor, wag dito. Kasi nga, his mother's giving him, may abuse na nangyayari. While staying with his mother, Kemper attended community college in accordance with his parole requirement and had hoped he would become a police officer, but was rejected because of his size. At the time of his release from Atascadero, Kemper stood 6'9", which led to his nickname Big Ed. Kemper maintained relationship with Santa Cruz police officers despite his rejection to join the force and became a self-described friendly nuisance at a bar called the Jury Room, which was popular hangout for local law enforcement officers. He worked a series of menial jobs before securing employment with the State of California Highway Department, now known as the California Department of Transportation. During his time, his relationship with Clarnell remained toxic and hostile, with mother and son having frequent arguments, which their neighbors often overheard. Kemper later described the arguments he had with his mother around this time, stating, So
May quote?
mag-internalize ako. My mother and I started right in on horrendous battles. Just horrible battles. Violent and vicious. I've never been in such a vicious verbal battle with anyone. It would go to fists with a man, but this was my mother, and I couldn't stand the thought of my mother and I doing these things. She insisted on it, and just over stupid things. I remember one roof raiser was over whether I should have my teeth cleaned.
Hmm.
Yun na yung issue nila.
Petty stuff.
Pero siguro kasi galit din talaga yung
Mm.
nanay
Meron ng talagang
na kahit
mm,
small things lang
Oo.
naka-trigger na sa helmet niya. When he had saved enough money, Kemper moved out to live with his friend in Alameda. Here, he still complained of being unable to get away from his mother as she regularly phoned him and paid him surprise visits.
what for?
Parang galit ka sa anak mo, di ba?
Asar lang.
Na-miss niya din eh, no? Tapos ito pala, yung hindi siya natanggap sa
Please.
police kasi nga, not because of his previous case.
But because?
Kasi that can be solved. So, parang hindi issue sa police yung mga ano eh.
Oh, yeah.
Kasi nga, pwede nating maalis yung case mo.
Mm.
Pero yung problema talaga yung height mo.
Too much.
You're too
It's
large.
too big.
Pero meron ba talagang height requirement? Pag police,
I think kasi, especially when you're in pursuit of a criminal na tumatakbo, you have to be able to run after them. Biggie,
okay.
yung size.
So, mahirap
niya.
siya
So, yeah.
yeah. Yun nga. So, dinadalaw siya ng airmat niya. Why? Na-miss niya siguro. Nakakainis, no? Wala siyang nabubuli sa bahay.
I can relate.
Tell us more about it. He often had financial difficulties, which resulted in him frequently returning to his mother's apartment in Aptos. Si kuya din pala.
Mm.
Well, yun nga, wala siyang pera pang-sustain, pang-maintain ng apartment niya. The same year, he began working for the highway department. Kemper began dating a 16-year-old Turlock High School student to whom he would later become engaged. Wow. Also, during this year, he was hit by a car while riding a motorcycle that he had recently purchased. His arm was badly injured and received $15,000 settlement in the civil suit he filed against the car's driver. While driving around in the 1969 Ford Galaxy, he bought with his settlement money. Bago ng Samsung ba? Bago. He noticed a large number of young women hitchhiking and began storing plastic bags, knives, blankets, and handcuffs in his car. He then began picking up girls and peacefully letting them go. So, ito yun, nagpa-practice siya.
Mm.
Na parang siguro nakailan siya dito, hundreds, na pick up lang. Kasi nga, teenager siya,
Yeah.
na nakulong before sa hospital. Tapos, nung lumabas siya, malaki na siya, literally. Hindi siya marunong
Hindi siya nakapag-adjust
interact.
socially.
na parang parang paglabas niya. Ano na nangyari?
Lipas na yung puberty niya.
Tapos medyo shy siya sa girls. Kaya ang ginagawa niya, nagte-testing siya by picking up hitchhikers, starting off conversations dun sa mga hitchhikers na to.
Pero walang violence.
Wala naman. Ano lang, as in pure, clean massage. Pure, malinis na, hitchhiking service lang. He picked up around 150 hitchhikers before he felt homicidal sexual urges, which he called his little zapples, and began acting on them.
Hold
So,
up.
ito nga,
Nung sumikat na siya, I wonder anong naisip ng 150 na naka-hitchhike sa kanya. Like, nakilala siya.
Shit,
Holy crap.
that
Nakisakay
was a
ako
close
dyan.
call.
Yeah.
Parang buti na lang, nagte-testing pa lang siya. Between May 1972 and April 1973, Kemper embarked on a murder spree. Wow. That started with 2 college students and ended with the murder of his mother and his best friend. Her best friend. He would pick up female students who were hitchhiking and take them to isolated areas where he would shoot, stab, smother, or strangle them. He would then take their lifeless bodies back to his home, where he would decapitate them, perform irumatio on their severed head. What the fuck is irumatio? So Google time.
Spell?
IRRUMATIO. Yeah, on their severed heads.
Basahin ka?
Okay.
Iromatio is a form of oral sex where a man thrusts his pee-pee into someone else's mouth, in contrast to fellatio, where the penis is being actively orally excited by a fellator.
So parang mouth fuck to.
The difference lies mainly in which party takes the active part.
Okay. Okay.
Kasi,
We're learning something new.
so,
So as opposed to fellatio,
ikaw yung... I
okay.
think we got the picture.
Irumatio. Okay. Have sexual intercourse with their corpses and then dismember them. During this 11-month spree, he killed 5 college students, 1 high school student, his mother, and his mother's best friend. Kemper had stated in interviews that he would often go hunting for victims after his mother's outbursts towards him, and that she would not introduce him to women attending the university where she worked. He recalled, ang daming quote, parang mag-in character ba ako? She would say, "You're just like your father." Ay, babae na to eh. She would say, "You're just like your father. You don't deserve to get to know them." Psychiatrist and Kemper himself have espoused the belief that the young women were surrogates for his ultimate target, his mother, and that the humiliating acts he committed on his mother's corpse support this hypothesis.
Yeah. Pure hatred.
Wait, is it raining?
I think.
Oh, wow, okay. Buti na lang nagdala akong payong. On May 7, 1972,
Ayan, may live weather, weather
Oo.
updates.
Meron tayong ano ba yung pag natutulog ka? Di ba may
Hmm.
umulan? Anong tawag sa mga ganong sound?
Yung
Ambient sound. Oh, yan. On May 7, 1972, Kemper was driving in Berkeley when he picked up 2 18-year-old hitchhiking Fresco State students, Mary Ann Pesci and Anita Mary Luchesa, on the pretext of taking them to Stanford University. After driving for an hour, he managed to reach a secluded wooded area near Alameda, which he was familiar with from his work at the highway department, without alerting his passengers that he had changed the directions from where they wanted to go. Here he intended to rape them, but having learned from serial rapists in Atascadero to not leave witnesses, he instead handcuffed Pesky and locked Luchesa in the trunk, then stabbed and strangled Pesky to death before killing Luchesa in a similar manner. Kemper later confessed that while handcuffing Pesky, he brushed the back of his hand against one of her breasts and it embarrassed him. Before adding that he even said, "Whoops, I'm sorry," or something like that, after grazing her breasts, despite murdering her minutes later. Oops, sorry. Yan. May paano siya, no? Kunyari. Hindi ko alam kung... Hello,
Ayun
di
yung
ba
masabihan,
ito na yun, rape na to eh.
nanyanyansing.
Oo, rape na to eh. Kemper put both of the women's bodies in the trunk of his Ford Galaxy and returned to his apartment. He was stopped on the way by a police officer for having a broken taillight, but the officer did not detect the corpses in the car. So, munti ka na siyang mahuli.
Shit.
If only. Kemper's roommate was not at home, so he took the bodies into his apartment, where he took photographs of and had sexual intercourse with the naked corpses before dismembering them. Sex with the corpse and photos, no? Parang very common to sa mga serial killers natin, no?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. He then put the body parts into plastic bags, which he later abandoned near Loma Prieta Mountain. Before disposing of Pesky's and Luchesa's severed head in a ravine, Kemper engaged in irumatio with both of them. So may pa huling ano pa.
What the hell?
In August, Pesky's skull was found up in Loma Prieta Mountain. An extensive search failed to turn up the rest of Pesky's remain or a trace of Luchesa. So, hindi nila nakita yung kay Luchesa, kawawa naman.
Wait. Di ba may ngipin? So, masakit yun, di ba?
Oo. Or, yeah, kasi nga, lifeless na eh. So, hindi mo makakontrol.
Wala nang
wait
gag
lang.
reflex.
I'm not sure kung okay ba na baka naririnig yung ulan. Or
Hindi.
okay lang.
Okay lang.
Okay lang, sige. Uy, parang ano to. Okay, we'll find out later.
That's how professional this
Oo.
podcast is.
On the evening of September 14, 1972, Kemper picked up 15-year-old dance student of Korean and Latvian heritage named Aikoku. Aikoku.
Sorry.
Who had decided to hitchhike to a dance class after missing her bus.
Ay,
Oh shit, what the fuck?
tragic.
If I was on time, hindi ko
Oo,
masasakyan
eh.
si Ed Kemper.
Mm.
Shit. Kaya don't be late, guys.
Yun yung takeaway.
Oh, yun yung takeaway natin. Kasi baka may killer pala. Pero ang lungkot lang, parang hindi sana papunta siya ng dance class niya. Okay. He again drove to a remote area and pulled a gun on Koo before accidentally locking himself out of the car.
Yung bloopers.
Oo. So, naiwan sa kotse si Aiko Koo. Si Ed Kemper nasa labas. Nalock siya sa labas. Pero okay na to, di ba? You would think na Aiko had the upper hand.
But?
However, Koo let him back inside. What the fuck? Kemper had previously gained the 15-year-old's trust while holding her at gunpoint. Alam ko may baril sa loob si ate eh. So parang nasa kanya talaga yung power nung time na yon.
Although, siguro...
Parang you'll never know kung anong napag-usapan nila eh.
Siguro dahil...
Very convincing.
Tsaka charismatic tong
Si Ed Kemper eh.
Nakuha niya ulit yung tiwala even
Ni
after
Aiko.
yung tutukan
Oo.
ng baril.
Parang hindi na, back inside the car, he proceeded to choke her unconscious, rape her, and kill her. He subsequently packed her body into the trunk of his car, had a few drinks at a nearby bar, then exited the bar and opened his trunk, and I quote, admiring his catch like a fisherman. Very ano talaga kamukha nung sa Mindhunter na. And returned to his apartment. Back at his apartment, he had sexual intercourse with the corpse before dismembering and disposing of the remains in a similar manner as his previous victims, whose mother called the police to report the disappearance of her daughter and put up hundreds of flyers asking for information, but did not receive any responses regarding her daughter's location or status. Kawawa naman si mom. On January 7, 1973, Kemper, who had moved back with his mother, was driving around Cabrillo College campus when he picked up 18-year-old student Cynthia Ann Cindy Shaw. He drove to a sequestered wooded area and fatally shot her with a .22 caliber pistol. He then placed her body in a trunk of his car and drove to his mother's house, where he kept her body hidden in a closet with his room overnight. The fuck? When his mother left for work the next morning, he had sexual intercourse with and removed the bullet from Shaw's corpse before dismembering and decapitating it in his mother's bathtub.
Kasama niya nanay niya sa bahay, di ba?
Oo, pero wala siya yung nanay niya during that
that
time. Kaya, he's free to do whatever he
Oh
wants.
my God.
Kemper, ano yung mga ano mo? Well, siguro nag-start to kasi nga sabi ng mga rapists doon sa Atascadero, don't leave witnesses. Diba? Eh, ang idea niya, patayin ko to, tsaka ako makipag-sex.
Para sure.
Kemper kept Shaw's severed head for several days, regularly engaging in irumation with him. With it. With it pala, sorry. Wow, rotting severed head and all. before burying it in his mother's garden, facing upward towards her bedroom. Later remarking that his mother, I quote, always wanted people to look up to her. So, this is what you wanted all along, di ba? So, ito. People are looking up to you.
What?
He discarded the rest of her remains by throwing them off a cliff. Over the course of the following few weeks, all but Charles' head and the right hand were discovered and pieced together like a macabre jigsaw puzzle. Talaga ba?
Kasi yung head nasa backyard.
Police and a pathologist determined that she had been hacked to death, then cut into pieces with a power saw. On February 5, 1973, after a heated argument with his mother, so laging gano'n, no? Nag-away sila ng nanay niya and
Hilalabas
outlet
siya.
niya.
Yeah. He takes
Sa-
it out on someone else.
Yeah, sa mga hitchhiker niya. Kemper left his house in search of possible victims. With heightened suspicion of a serial killer preying on hitchhikers in Santa Cruz area, students were advised to only get into the cars with university stickers with them. Kasi nga para kilala. Kaso,
this is where it comes in. Yung UCSC.
yung nanay niya, diba, nagtatrabaho sa UCSC. So, meron
she
siya
has a sticker.
Yeah. Kemper had such a sticker as his mother worked sa UCSC. He encountered 23-year-old Rosalind Heather Thorpe and a 20-year-old Alice Helen Liu on the UCSC campus. According to Kemper, Thorpe entered his car first, which reassured Liu to also enter. Girl, tara na.
Hindi kasi parang isipin mo, dalawa naman tayo.
Oo, safe tayo.
Yeah.
Well, oo nga, kasi nga, hindi tayo papatayin nito. Tsaka yun nga, yung itsura din kasi ni Ed, parang mabait
Sobrang gentle giant.
He then fatally shot Thorpe and Liu with his .22 caliber pistol and wrapped their bodies in blankets. Kemper again brought his victims back to his mother's house. This time, he beheaded them in his car and carried the headless corpses into his mother's house to have sexual intercourse with them. Okay, so walang head. Hindi kasi ba
Corpse
mahilig
lang.
siya sa erasure eh. So, he then dismembered the bodies, removed the bullet to prevent identification. Yung natutunan niya sa mga cops.
Yeah.
Kasi diba, friends niya yung mga cops eh.
And nakikita niya siguro yung mga procedures nila kung paano nila natitrace.
Nakakakwentuhan niya sa jury room yung tambayan ng mga pulis. Tsaka, ayun, mabait siya. Big Ed nga tawag sa kanya ng mga pulis. Some remains were found at Eden Canyon a week later, and more were found near Highway 1 in March. When questioned in an interview as to why he removed the victims' heads before performing sexual acts on the bodies, he explained, in character na naman ako, and I quote,
Kaya mo yan.
the head trip fantasies were a bit like trophy. You know, the head is where everything is at. The brain, eyes, mouth, that's the person. I remember being told as a kid, you cut off the head and the body dies. The body is not nothing after the head is cut off. Well, that's not quite true. There's a lot left in the girl's body without the head. So in a way, kasi nga walang ulo, walang identification. For him, it's just, parang dummy, ganon. Kaya
Sex
okay.
doll.
Sex doll, yeah.
To be continued.